Hey everybody, welcome back to Mama Zodi Tarot. So, someone asked me to do a video on IU. I think her real name is pronounced Lee Jian, and she's known as, the queen of K-pop, right? She's one of the top, definitely top Korean singers and actresses, because she's an actress, she's a singer, she's sort of multifaceted. So yeah, let's jump right into it. She didn't ask me any specific questions, but I did read up a little bit on her and what people often ask about her. So we will start with that. Firstly, I have up here just the story, her full story from youth until currently now. I did see that, she had a tough upbringing. I see mature woman, distant horizon in reverse, message of concern, gift, message, wealthy man in reverse, concern, official person, child in reverse, pathway in reverse. Okay, so what this is telling me is that, from a young age, she's always wanted to be an artist, right? With this mature woman, she's always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, which she's spoken about. So that's not, surprising. But as, life would have it, things got a little bit difficult with this distant horizon coming out in reverse. And it seemed a little bit further out of her grasp than she probably expected it to be in the beginning. And this message of concern and gift is telling me that, she was definitely worried how she was going to get this opportunity and the chance to share her gifts with the world and share her talents with the world, because she knew that, in order to do so, she needed to have certain things, she had to be established. She had to have help. It wasn't going to be something that she could do all on her own. But she definitely had a message that she wanted to share and a gift that she wanted to share with the world. But she knew that, her family possibly not having money with this wealthy man in reverse and concern could have been the issue, maybe them not being necessarily royalty or, known as super established in South Korea. So that was definitely an issue for her. And she always wondered, whether or not this pathway would be closed for her. And with this child and pathway being in reverse, it tells me that, obviously this pathway was not closed for her. And even though she went through some difficult things in her childhood, she still was able to overcome, despite, maybe not coming from a wealthy family or having a wealthy mother and father and things like that. She definitely came from a family that, was helpful. This mature woman, I know she talked about living with her grandmother at a certain point. So all of these different people that were in her life supported her family, and they helped her to, make sure that she focused on continuing to share her gift and spread that message that she wanted to share with the world, and not to be too concerned about what she didn't have growing up. So she overcame a lot of obstacles in order to get this. Okay, I do see coffin at the bottom of the deck. So she went through some things. It definitely wasn't easy. Of course, she experienced, tough days or some endings, but she was definitely able to persevere and overcome. So that is awesome. That is as far as, how her childhood has affected her. Definitely not being wealthy. She thought that was going to be a concern, but she still was able to spread her talents, because there was people who supported her and believed in her and wanted to see her win and see her shine. So that is beautiful. Let's talk about how she feels about her music career. So how does she feel about her music career and how it's been so far, her trajectory, everything that she's been through to get to where she is? Because I know that she's had, some ups and downs. It started off rocky with her not being received so well with her first album, but I know she persevered. So let's see how she really felt. I get the vibe that money was definitely an issue for her. Yeah, I see the Six of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So it's a lot about, her being received well and wanting to make sure that, she didn't put off an image that would alienate her or isolate her. She always wanted to, definitely have a real connection with her fans and have a real involvement with her fans with the Six of Pentacles coming out in reverse, okay, on the bottom of the deck. But let's start. We have the Six of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Ten of Wands in reverse. Oh, she's very happy about her career and where it's at. With the Six of Wands, she feels very victorious. She enjoys being in the spotlight. She enjoys everything that she's doing. I think that she, maybe possibly might feel like, there's an element of control here with this King of Wands and Ten of Wands in reverse, possibly where it's like, she knows that, she's in the spotlight, but to a certain extent, her image and things like that are controlled. And yeah, with this King of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Nine of Cups, interesting, and Five of Wands in reverse. This is very interesting in terms of how she feels about her music career, because with the Knight of Cups, it gives me, she definitely loves what she's doing and she appreciates what she's doing. And it brings her a lot of love and a lot of fans, possibly, a lot of male attention, and things like that. And she appreciates, the relationships that she's built, enjoying the fruits of her labor, being able to really live that fulfillment and that enjoyment, not having a lot of drama and chaos. She actually, gets to enjoy, her life. So that's a great point for her. But with this King of Wands, King of Pentacles, and Knight of Cups, I'm sort of interested in that and what that is. I'm trying to see, like, is this someone who's controlling her finances, or is this just the fact of men just possibly coming around and wanting to, have relationships with her and offer her love, and come to find out they just want to use her, or they want to get some sort of money off of her. So I'm trying to clarify on what this is here. So is this someone who's controlling her finances within the music industry? Because this is kind of twofold. Like, it gives the vibe that, like, her music attracts male lovers that she might not want, or that, she might have a lot of passion with, but then they might, have a lot of money, but they might just be, using her for whatever it is that she has to offer. So let's see. Is this someone that she's working with in the music industry, or is this a lover? Let's see. If this is someone who she's working with, I see yes. Glowing results, clarity, seeing the whole picture, on pins and needles, rough patch, being stuck, valuable experience, worth your time, profit. Okay, and then let's see about whether or not this is possibly suitors. Okay, we got no. Spotted reputation, going bad, rotten idea, beyond your ability, done to death, not viable. Make a splash, deep dive, flowing easily into your life. So this is about her feeling like sometimes her finances and her image is controlled because, by whoever this, King of Pentacles is, and they're wanting her to create this image, that's, attractive, passion, they want her to have something that attracts men. I'm just going to say it as it is. They want her to attract like man and love. And, with this Knight of Cups and King of Wands, they really want her to give off this femme fatale, sexified kind of vibe. And they just want her to really appeal to the male audience and appeal to the male gaze, is what I see as far as how she feels about her, music career. And, just, she might not like all the time having to adjust her personality in order to, achieve this success. So that's how I would say she, and she definitely feels like possibly she might be, with this Ten of Wands in reverse, wanting to release a lot of, those burdens and release a lot of that forced image that she's carrying in order to, achieve this wish fulfillment. So I'm kind of nosy. I want some more about that, like about this dynamic with this, whoever this King of Pentacles is. What is it that what's the image that he wants her to portray? I know it's the femme fatale, but tell me some more about that. This image that he wants, what does this guy want? That's involved with her finances. Must be a manager or someone from her record label, whatever the case may be. It has to be. So what does this person want? Impulse buyer. Yeah, they want what sells. They want what people want to see. Okay. Delivery app devotee, yoga pretzel in reverse, professional binge watcher. Like, they just want whatever is popular, whatever people want to watch, whatever people want to see. They want that's what they want for her. Okay, so they want her to do things that, you know, is going to make them as much money as possible. It's all about eating. Okay, it's all about what they can make, and they want her to be very, very devoted to this image and this music, and yeah, with this yoga pretzel in reverse, you know, he's all intertwined and wrapped around everything that she's doing as far as her music career and what it is that she's creating. He's always watching. He's pretty much micromanaging her, and always wanting to make sure that she's working. She's producing. She's keeping up with the image. She's, you know, staying in the spotlight. She's being overworked here pretty much, because they want her to always be the number one. Like, you know, they need her to be selling those records, and they need her to be the number one. So, they're on her back heavily. Yeah. It's like she almost cannot make a decision without this person, with this DIY disaster in reverse. Like, they don't even let her make a misstep or a mistake. Like, her entire, image is attempted to be controlled, right? Like, that's what they're attempting to do, is to constantly keep her image controlled, so that way, you know, she doesn't make any missteps, or she doesn't have any, you know, disaster or whatever. They want her always following their rule book and, you know, what it is that they're doing, so that she can stay in the spotlight. Okay. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. They probably, you know, don't even let her, you know, have too much fun with this chronic multitasking in reverse. It's like they want her super devoted, super focused to the work and to the music, and they really don't want to see her enjoying herself or spending any other time doing anything else. Yeah, they want her mind clear, her time free, and her devoted and dedicated to her music career. So yeah, whoever this is very strict when it comes to her music and her music career, and they don't want her getting distracted from whatever focus it is that she has. And we know that, you know, she doesn't necessarily, I don't think she necessarily likes it, but I think that, you know, she doesn't like drama. She doesn't like arguments. She doesn't like fights. So she just does what they say, because she thinks that what they say is best. So yeah, that's what I have as far as, you know, how she feels about her music and her music career. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to stay too much in that energy, because I don't like being in those darker energies. But let's just see if she could change things about her career. What is it that she would change? Because it seems like I said, it's a lot that seems to be controlled as far as how her image looks, and she is very much being overworked. And it's like do. I don't know how much rest and relaxation she's even really getting. It seems like she's working super hard. So what would she change if there was things that she could change? What would she change? Let's see. Social battery drained in reverse. Didn't I say? She's drained. All right. She's overworking. She would slow down. That's what if she could change anything, she would slow down. She would stop overworking herself. She would stop allowing herself to be drained. All right. Yeah, literally. She would stop allowing herself to be siphoned off of and used with this human charger coming out in reverse. You know, the human charger is like, not only are you always going, not only are you always plugged in and plugged up and having to go, but then you have other people that's feeding off of what you're doing and what you're making, whether that's family, the label, whoever it is, they're training her at this point. Like, she's like the golden goose is what I just heard in my head. She's like that golden goose, and they're draining her. Yeah. If there's something she could change with this mansplainer extraordinaire, she would speak up for herself more. Okay, she would be a lot louder. Okay, I heard when I first started this reading, to be honest, the only word that I heard was martyrdom when I looked at her picture, but I didn't want to go too much into it, because I'm like, damn, you know, I don't like going into the darker energies, but it really does feel like, you know, she's having to sacrifice a lot of who she is to be this music artist, to be IU. In order to be IU, she has to sacrifice being Lee Jian, or Lee Jian, however you say it. That is what I feel. She would definitely, with this Grill Master in reverse, she wouldn't care about all of those things that she cared about before, pretty much is what I'm seeing. With this Grill Master in reverse, she wouldn't allow anyone to manipulate her. She wouldn't allow anyone to, you know, be like the lead or the head or the guru in her life. She wouldn't just listen to what other people say and, you know, always allow herself to be mansplained to, you know. She would speak up for herself. She wouldn't allow whoever these people are to always be controlling her and in control and masterminding her life and stuff like that. She would definitely try to avoid that. Yeah, parallel park pro in reverse. Didn't I say she's always working? She wouldn't be so parked. She would actually be out. She would be enjoying herself. She would be living life. Okay, she would be seeing the sights. Instead, She's overworked so much so that what? This person is asleep behind the wheel in their car. Sunglasses and Advil. Last night was mad trill. Like, she hasn't had a good night partying, enjoying herself. She hasn't had one of those in a long time. And there will be a lot more fun and enjoyment and less overworking and stressing and overdoing and allowing herself to be, controlled and manipulated. There will be a lot less of that if it was up to her in terms of her music career. I'm not saying that, she doesn't enjoy, being a musician, but I definitely feel like she doesn't enjoy not being able to show y'all exactly who she really is with this selfie fail coming out on the bottom of the deck. She feels like it's an image that's being painted. It's not who she is, and therefore she would much prefer showing us who she really is and not having to dim her own self and having to always, do what she's being told to do at all times. She just seems like a very sweet, loyal kind of person, but almost to her detriment to where she is overworking. So I would love to know about, her personality. Tell me about, more about her personality, because I feel like that's really where we're getting to here. Is like her personality just seems very, sweet, and I think that she's possibly being taken advantage of. Her kindness is definitely being taken for a weakness because she doesn't have the wherewithal to speak up and say, hey, I really don't like this image that I'm being forced to do. It's not really something that I like or I enjoy. It feels awkward, whatever the case may be. So let's see about her actual personality, her real, true inner personality. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse. Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay, so as far as her true personality, she really, really, really does love music. She really does love art. She loves creativity. She loves all of those things, but she doesn't care really about the financial aspect that it comes with this Page of Pentacles coming out in reverse. She feels like it's caused her to possibly lose a certain invigoration, lose a certain passion and creativity. You lose the essence of what you're doing when you add the financial aspect to it. So I feel like deep down at her core, Page of Pentacles in reverse, she's a true artist, and she just wants to share her art and her creativity with the world for nothing, not necessarily looking for anything in exchange, okay? Just for the true expressive form of it. She's not looking for accolades with this Six of Wands in reverse. She's not looking for the spotlight. Her personality is not really a one that is, cares too much to be shining. Like, she doesn't need the spotlight and the shine to be on her. She's okay with just being comfortable, being zen, being at peace. That's really more so what it is for her. Ten of Swords in reverse, like, she's just a very calm individual. She doesn't like too much rah-rah is the word that I'm going to use, but she doesn't need the whole, it's great having fans and it's great having spotlight and all that stuff, but she doesn't need 50 million people cheering for her and screaming behind her, every day, all day. She's okay with just living a more simple to herself lifestyle. And with this Ten of Swords in reverse, I think emotionally and mentally she goes through a lot. She goes through a lot of burdens mentally, and she keeps them to herself. She has to speak up about a lot of things that she is dealing with mentally. King of Swords. Yeah, so with this Ten of Swords in reverse and the King of Swords, it's one of those things where she definitely always is listening. That's what I want to say to the advice of a man with this King of Swords. Mentally, there's always a man that's leading her, that's kind of controlling her and controlling her thought process. And that's something that she definitely doesn't like, just to be honest, just to be totally real. Yeah, with the Three of Cups in reverse, she really doesn't appreciate it. She doesn't even have, a lot of true friends with the Three of Cups in reverse. She doesn't have, you see how these women are like all holding hands and hugging? She doesn't have a lot of true friends and people that, she can call on. She just seems like an introverted person, a very homebody type of person. Yeah, Queen of Wands. It's all about sharing her passion. It's all about her creativity. That's what makes her feel alive. That's what lights her spark, and makes her smile, is when she's doing things creatively, when she's expressing herself through her passions and her creativity. That's when she's most that happy. All right. I'm seeing the Three of Swords. So she deals with a lot of heartache. Okay. That's what that tells me. She deals with a lot of emotional turmoil and pain and heartache. about things, and she doesn't speak about it. She keeps it to herself. She doesn't talk to her loved ones about it. She doesn't talk to people about it. She keeps it very close and near and dear to her. You know, so that's the thing. If you were to look at her, you would think that she comes off very intelligent, very intellectual, very smart, which she is. She would come off very put together. And while that is true, you know, she's definitely someone who has a lot of hidden anxieties and fears and a lot of hidden heartache and pain and emotions that she just buries deep down. And she chooses to speak about this in her music. She chooses to speak about this and express it through her creativity rather than talking to other people about it and getting other people involved. All right, so that's kind of the energy that I get from this. And she doesn't have a lot of like camaraderie. She doesn't have a lot of like true friends and people who understand her, who she feels like she's on the same level with, who can understand everything that she's going through. All right, I'm seeing the Lovers in reverse. So she possibly also, as far as relationship wise, you know, with her personality, she could have been suffered a lot of, you know, heartache and pain when it comes to lovers, when it comes to relationships, men who, you know, talked a good game, you know, but they were all talking, they were no action. They weren't actually putting in the effort and the work into, you know, making her feel seen and feel loved. And they might have been the cause of some of this heartache and pain. So that's what I get as far as her personality. So let's see about her love life, since it's already there, you know. We do have the Lovers in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So let's see about her love life. 5 of Cups in reverse, 8 of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Having a hard time, finding somebody that she's equally yoked with, I feel like. With this 6 of Cups in reverse and 8 of Cups in reverse, not 6, that's the 5 of Cups, excuse me. See, I thought it was the 6 of Cups, but, yeah, having a hard time moving on, from people, moving on from past heartbreak. You know, she harpers a lot on that. She has a lot of past pain, resentment, sadness, things, you know, just emotions that she has not worked through from the past, that keeps her, stuck. Okay, with this Temperance in reverse, she hasn't been able to release a lot of those stuck feelings and emotions. You know, she's crying over spilled milk still. She's still longing over those past heartbreaks and the love that, you know, that has left her in the past. With this 8 of Cups, having to walk away from things that did not serve her. It's very, very hard for her to do those things. And then even when she does, she holds on to them for a very long time, and she has a hard time returning to, you know, a state of peace and a state of happiness because of everything that she's constantly juggling and battling and going through. So I'm looking at this light and this dark with these emotions. So that's kind of what it is for her, juggling her emotions, going through ups and downs and feeling, you know, light sometimes and then being pulled right back into that darkness. Followed behind that, we have the 4 of Wands in reverse, the 5 of Wands, and the 6 of Cups. So yeah, you know, dealing with men that constantly put her in competition, lots of fights, arguments, possibly, you know, dealing with other, you know, third parties or other lovers, with this 4 of Wands in reverse, not, you know, them not being trustworthy, her having to constantly tear down these foundations that she's starting, because these men, you know, refuse to settle down, refuse to just be a one guy type of woman, refuse to just stay with just her. They always have to, you know, be outside and enjoying themselves, refusing to do the inner child healing, things like that. So a lot of times these men were mirroring her where the work hadn't been done. Yeah, definitely being stingy with her as well with the 6 of Cups in reverse. But like I said, just a lot of mirroring of unhealed childhood wounds and not willing to mature and grow up, possibly using her, and like I said, putting her in competition in dramatic situations where, you know, she wasn't the only one, or she was having to fight for their love or fight for their time, fight for their effort. And it was just too much for her. So that is what I have as far as, you know, her past, you know, grievances when it comes to love, and her career. So let's see about her wish fulfillment and what exactly it is that she's looking for, out of life and out of her music career and love and everything like that. Safe space in reverse, imposter, sabotage in reverse, confession in reverse, and growth in reverse. So I would say, as far as what she's looking for, as far as her music career, it's to, you know, no longer be being sabotaged by whoever this person is, and not have to be an imposter and wear any type of false mask. She doesn't want to, you know, have to pretend or be false with this selfie fail, and be somebody that she's not in order to have a career. She would rather, you know, with this confession in reverse, she would rather talk about who she really is. She would rather speak about some of the things that she's actually been through. She wants to, use her music to speak about her struggles, speak about the things she's been through, speak about her past, speak about how she's been taken advantage of with this safe space in reverse, how she's been sabotaged. Okay, she would ultimately like to get some growth and some evolution and some change from her music career. That's what she would like to see. But with all of these cards coming out in reverse, except for imposter, it's telling me that, that's what she's struggling with, right? She's struggling with the fact that on the surface, on the to the media, what we see is her being an imposter, but deep down, she has no desire to wear that image. Okay, and then as far as love, I'm seeing revenge, unfriendly in reverse, greed, career, and closure in reverse. So yeah, she wants to avoid these dudes that are greedy, all right, that see her and see dollar signs, that want to attach themselves to her because they think that they're going to get something out of her. Okay, with revenge, it says, I'm looking to damage you in retaliation for perceived wrong. So these could be, old childhood friends that, or people that she turned down in the past that came around and said, hey, I love you. I'm going to be with you. Whatever the case may be, she's realizing that, when it comes to love, like she doesn't want to be around anybody who hates women, put it like that. When it comes to revenge, that might be looking to her to get back for whatever unhealed childhood wounds that they have. Because remember, the Six of Cups came out in reverse. So she's not looking for anyone trying to come after her because they have unhealed wounds and they want to take them out on her and they want to be unkind and unfriendly towards her. She's not trying to be with anyone who is apathetic, who, is focused on greed or wants anything to do with her career. Like with this closure in reverse, that's going to remind, it's giving me that she doesn't want anyone who reminds her of her past, anything that mimics her past. She's trying to completely stay away from that. And yeah, so that's what she would like as far as her love and as far as her career is for people to like freaking stay away from her and stop looking at her and see her dollar signs, and for her to be able to not be an imposter and be who she really is in terms of the message that she spreads for us. So that's what I have for y'all. Ooh, my left arm is starting to hurt up here. But that's what I have for y'all in terms of let's lastly just see what she's focused on right now so I can close out this reading. Too much noise in my background. Alright. Vent, desperate in reverse, bad news, laughter in reverse, and misunderstanding in reverse. So she's right now what she's focusing on is speaking up. Okay? That's what she's focusing on, learning how to be serious about advocating for herself and speaking up about what it is that she, wants when it comes, in terms of her music career, and see what it is that she can do to make sure that she advocates for herself properly and that she's not taken advantage of. If I'm looking at this in terms of her love life, she could be, in a situation where she's possibly going to therapy, or with this vet is giving like therapy and wanting to talk about some of the things she's been through, and find a safe space to be able to talk about all of that past heartbreak and pain and all of that stuff. So I think that right now she's definitely focusing on learning to advocate for herself, stand up for herself, speak up for herself when it comes to her music career, when it comes to love, when it comes to just the life that she wants to live, allowing herself to experience more enjoyment, okay, and laughter and all of those good things that she has been denying herself. She wants to speak up and say, hey, it's time for me to enjoy the fruits of my labor. It's time for me to have fun. You know what I mean? She's not like stressed. She's not worried. She's not desperate in the energy, and she wants to, enjoy her life. And so ultimately, yes, this may be bad news for certain people that's involved that want her to be overworking herself and, overdoing it. But I am seeing that, she's focusing on really, advocating for herself and learning how to give herself the time, the energy, and the space that she needs to just be her and not be IU, the music artist, right? And not IU, the actress and all of that stuff. She's really trying to find time to just focus on being her and spending some time with herself. I don't see that she would be so focused on acting, making music and doing all this stuff if she had it her way, because I think that she would much prefer to get some enjoyment in her life right now. So that's what I have as far as IU and her music career and her personal life and everything. I hope that I answered all of the questions that you had for the person who requested this video. Hope that you guys enjoy it. I love y'all, and I'm going to see y'all later.